Hello, listeners. Glad to join you again on a chilly night. Hope you're staying warm. Got some more readings for cozy nights with some classic poetry on such important themes of reverence for life, the soul, and sacrifices. Things that always have meant so much to humanity that we're especially being reminded of now. Once again, I hope during these times you continue to find a way to get outside of yourself, to contribute to the well-being of others, and to take care of one another. Let's not forget to do that. And the poems tonight are going to draw reflection on that. So sit back, relax by the fireplace with a fuzzy warm blanket and some cocoa or tea, and enjoy. I begin with poems on the theme of reverence for life, and this first one is Woodman, Spare That Tree by George Perkins Morris. Woodman, spare that tree, touch not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. 'Twas my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. There, woodman, let it stand, thy axe shall harm it not. That old familiar tree, whose glory and renown are spread o'er land and sea, and wouldst thou hew it down? Woodman, forbear thy stroke, cut not its earth-bound ties, or spare that age oak, now towering to the skies. But when an idle boy I sought its grateful shade, and all their gushing joy, here too my sisters played, my mother kissed me here, my father pressed my hand. Forgive this foolish tear, but let that old oak stand. My heartstrings round thee cling, close as thy bark, old friend. Here shall the wild birds sing, and still thy branches bend. Old tree, the storm's still brave, and woodman, leave the spot, while I've a hand to save, thy axe shall hurt it not. Next is The Fly by William Blake. Little fly, thy summer's play my thoughtless hand has brushed away. Am not I a fly like thee? Oh, art not thou a man like me? For I dance and drink and sing till some blind hand shall brush my wing. If thought is life and strength and breath, and the want of thought is death, then am I a happy fly if I live, or if I die? Another one by William Blake. Auguries of Innocence. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. A robin redbreast in a cage puts all heaven in a rage. A dove house filled with doves and pigeons shudders hell through all its regions. A dog starved at his master's gate predicts the ruin of the state. A horse misused upon the road calls to heaven for human blood. Each outcry of the hunted hare a fiber from the brain does tear. A skylark wounded in the wing, a cherubim does cease to sing. The gamecock clipped and armed for fight does the rising sun affright. Every wolf's and lion's howl raises from hell a human soul. The wild deer wandering here and there keeps the human soul from care. The lamb misused breeds public strife, and yet forgives the butcher's knife. The bat that flits at close of eve has left the brain that won't believe. The owl that calls upon the night speaks to unbelievers' fright. He who shall hurt the little wren shall never be beloved by men. He who the ox to wrath had moved shall never be by woman loved. The wanton boy that kills the fly shall feel the spider's enmity. He who torments the chaffer sprite weaves a bower in endless night. The caterpillar on the leaf repeats to thee thy mother's grief. Kill not the moth nor butterfly, for the last judgment draweth nigh. And here we move into sacrifices. And this past year has really drawn to mind what sacrifices mean. To love is to sacrifice. Real love is sacrifice. You can't have one without the other. A sacrifice of yourself, a sacrifice of your time, your energy, your resources. That's what it means to love. But the power of genuine, real love is just something out of this world. Transformative, restorative, awe-inspiring. Let's get into some poems that help capture that. We start off with one of the great champions of poetry, the lovely Emily Dickinson. She rose to his requirement. Dropped the playthings of her life to take the honorable work of woman and of wife. If aught she missed in her new day of amplitude or awe, or first perspective, or the gold in using wear away, it lay unmentioned as the sea-developed pearl and weed, but only to himself be known, the fathoms they abide. To Primroses Filled with Morning Dew by Robert Herrick. Why do ye weep, sweet babes? Can tears speak grief in you, who were but born just as the modest morn teemed her refreshing dew? Alas, ye have not known that shower that mars a flower, nor felt the unkind breath of a blasting wind, nor are ye worn with years, or warped as we who think it strange to see such pretty flowers, like to orphans young, speaking by tears before ye have a tongue. Speak, whimpering younglings, and make known the reason why ye droop and weep. Is it for want of sleep, or childish lullaby, or that ye have not seen as yet the violet, or brought a kiss from that sweetheart to this? No, no, the sorrow shown by your tears shed would have this lecture read. The things of greatest or of meanest worth conceived with grief are, and with tears brought forth. To close out this topic is a poem titled Eros Terranos by Edwin Arlington Robinson. She fears him who will always ask what fated her to choose him. She meets in his engaging mask all reasons to refuse him. But what she meets and what she fears are less than are the downward years, drawn slowly to the foamless wares of age, were she to lose him. Between a blurred sagacity that once had power to sound him, and love that would not let him be, the Judas that she found him, her pride assuages her almost, as if it were alone to cost. He sees that he will not be lost, and waits and looks around him. A sense of ocean and old trees envelops and allures him. Tradition, touching all he sees, beguiles and reassures him. And all her doubts of what he says are dimmed with what she knows of days, till even prejudice delays and fades, and she secures him. The falling leaf inaugurates the reign of her confusion. The pounding wave reverberates the dirge of her illusion. And home where passion lived and died becomes a place where she can hide, while all the town and harbor side vibrate with her seclusion. We tell you, tapping on our brows, the story as it should be, as if the story of a house were told or ever could be. We'll have no kindly veil between her visions and those we have seen, as if we guessed what hers have been, or what they are or would be. Meanwhile, we do no harm, for they that with a God have striven, not hearing much of what we say, take what the God has given, though like waves breaking it may be, or like a changed familiar tree, or like a stairway to the sea, or down the blind or driven. I want to finish out this edition with poems on the soul. Take care of your soul. It's, when you have one, nourish it, guard it, cherish it, and do the same with the soul of others. Once again, have a strong start with the legendary Walt Whitman, Darest thou now, O soul? Darest thou now, O soul, walk out with me toward the unknown region, where neither ground is for the feet nor any path to follow? No map there nor guide, nor voice sounding, nor touch of human hand, nor face with blooming flesh, nor lips, nor eyes are in that land. I know it not, O soul, nor dost thou. All is a blank before us. All waits undreamed of in that region, that inaccessible land. Till when the tides loosen all but the tides eternal, time and space, nor darkness, gravitation, sense, nor any bounds bounding us. Then we burst forth, we float, in time and space, O soul, prepared for them, equal, equipped at last. O joy, O fruit of all, to them fulfill, O soul. I sought my soul, by author unknown. I sought my soul, but my soul I could not see. I sought my God, but my God eluded me. I sought my brother, and I found all three. The Old Stoic, by Emily Bronte. Riches I hold in light esteem, and love I laugh to scorn, and lust of fame was but a dream that vanished with the morn. And if I prayed only prayer that moves my lips for me is, leave the heart that now I bear, and give me liberty. Yes, as my swift days near the goal, 'tis all that I implore, in life and death a chainless soul, with courage to endure. To the Soul, by John Collop. Dull soul, aspire. Thou art not earth. Mount higher. Heaven gave the spark. To it return the fire. Let sin never quench thy high flame spirit hence. To earth the heat, to heaven the flame dispense. Rejoice, rejoice! Turn, turn each part a voice, while to the heartstrings tune ye all rejoice. The house is swept which sin so long foul kept, the pennies found for which the loser wept. And, purged with tears, God's image reappears. The penny truly shows whose stamp it bears. The sheep long lost, sin's wilderness oft crossed, is found, regained, returned. Spare, spare no cost. 'Tis heaven's own suit. Hark how it woos thee to't. When angels needs must speak, shall man be mute? Valediction forbidding mourning, by John Donne. As virtuous men pass mildly away, and whisper to their souls to go, while some of their sad friends do say, the breath goes now, and some say no. So let us melt and make no noise, no tear floods nor sigh tempests move, toward profanation of our joys, to tell the laity our love. Moving of the earth brings harms and fears, men reckon what it did and meant, but trepidation of the spheres, thou greater far, is innocent. Dull sublunary lovers love, whose soulless sense cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. But we by a love so much refined, that ourselves know not what it is, enter short of the mind, careless eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Our two souls therefore which are one, though I must go, endure not yet a breach, but an expansion, let go to airy thinness beat. If they be two, they are two so, as stiff twin compasses are two. Thy soul, the fixed foot, makes no show to move, but both do if the other do. And though it in the centre sit, and yet when the other far doth roam, it leans and hearkens after it, and grows erect as that comes home. Such wilt thou be to me, who must, like the other foot, obliquely run. Thy firmness makes my circle just, and makes me end where I begun. We have Walt Whitman again, and A Noiseless Patient Spider. A noiseless patient spider, I marked on a little promontory it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding. It launched forth filament, filament, filament out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you are my soul where you stand, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, to the bridge you would need be formed, to the ductile anchor hold, to the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere, O my soul. And Miss Bronte comes to us again as well, with no coward soul is mine. No coward soul is mine, no tremble in the world's storm-troubled sphere. I see heaven's glories shine, and faith shines equal, arming me from fear. O God within my breast, almighty, ever-present deity, life that in me has rest, as I, undying life, have power in thee. Vain are the thousand creeds that move men's hearts, unutterably vain, worthless as withered weeds, or idlest froth amid the boundless main. To waken doubt in one, holding so fast by dying infinity, so surely anchored on the steadfast rock of immortality. With wide embracing love thy spirit animates eternal years, pervades and broods above, changes, sustains, dissolves, creates and rears. Though earth and man regard, and suns and universes cease to be, and thou were left alone, every existence would exist in thee. There's not room for death, nor atom that his might could render void. Thou art being and breath, and what thou art may never be destroyed. We close with the great Robert Frost, the silken tint. She as is in a field of a silken tint, at midday when a sunny summer breeze has dried the dew and all its ropes relent, so that in guise it gently sways at ease, and its supporting central cedar pole, that is its pinnacle to heavenward, and signifies the sureness of the soul, seems to owe naught to any single cord, but strictly held by none, is loosely bound by countless silken ties of love and thought to everything on earth that compass round, and only by one's going slightly taut in the capriciousness of summer air is of the slightest bondage made aware. Thank you so much for joining me in this latest edition of Readings for Cozy Nights. I will join you all again soon. Until then, may peace be with you. Stay warm, stay safe, stay well.